There are two main goals in boarding combat in Pirates of the Burning Sea. The first is to bring the enemy to a stop or slow him enough to allow boarding. The second is to reduce the enemy's crew as much as possible in order to tip the scales in our favor. So what we're going to do first is go over how we're going to prepare to do that. The first and most obvious piece of equipment is the ship. You basically want a ship with a good maneuverability and a decent sized crew. If you're just starting out, any of the low-level ships will do just fine. Our next concern is ammunition. Demasting shot damages sails, and there are several different types to choose from. Bar shot has the longest range but does the least amount of damage. Star shot does the most damage but has a much shorter range. Chain falls somewhere in between. Anti-personnel, or AP, ammo is designed for taking out the crew. Several types of AP shot are available, ranging from the inexpensive and low-damage langrage to the powerful punch of grape shot. Fittings allow a player to tailor their ship to fit their playstyle and add benefit to their preferred method of combat. Boarding combat is no exception. There are cannon fittings that add a grappling bonus, and there are a wide range of general fittings available from crafters, loot drops, and missions. Next up is consumables. You have your patches for your structure and sails and armor, but how do you get your crew back in shape? Rum. Keep plenty on board in case you need to put the fighting spirit back into your men. Skills. This is a topic and a half, but in order to get you started, my best advice is to check your class skill trees for ones that affect enemy speed and sails, reduce the enemy crew, or buff your own crew. Now that we've gone over that, let's start going over what some of the main tactics are for boarding. The two main ones are ramming and demasting. Let's start with ramming. Ram on a slight angle so as to maintain speed and control of the encounter. If you hit head-on and the attempt to grapple fails, you're at a dead stop and are left in a vulnerable position. Now let's go over the pros and cons of this particular approach. You can usually end an encounter quickly by starting off by ramming the ship, boarding, and getting it over with there. Also with slow ships, it pretty much disables it because they don't have the turning ability or the acceleration to get out of the way or to maneuver away from what you've done. The downside is this is a pretty reckless thing to do. It leaves your bow exposed, and it can also leave you in a bad position if the grappling fails and you're at a dead stop. What we'll do in this example is cover our two goals, slowing the ship and reducing the crew. Using our demasting shot, we take out the sails until the ship can either no longer maneuver or can no longer move. Pulling in front means the ship has to hit you or try to turn, slowing itself even more. Now that we have our target pretty much immobilized, we're going to switch to anti-personnel shot and start taking out that crew. At this point we're getting ready to board, so we want to pull in close and slow down to under 10 knots, while trying to get the crew as low as possible before grappling. Let's pause for a moment to discuss that grappling thing. The small grappling hook lights up when you start to have a decent chance of successfully grappling your opponent. Yellow means a good chance of doing so, and green means you're almost guaranteed success. Hovering over the icon will show you the % chance that you have, but it's easier to just go by the colors. Clicking the icon, or pressing the Z key, will attempt to grapple your enemy. Let's fire one more volley to take out a few more men, and then we'll board that ship. Once on board, the goal is to take out the enemy's waves before they take out yours. You have about 20 seconds to enter the fighting area before the match starts. The first thing you'll want to do is pick your target. The easiest way to do that is to press Tab until the desired target is selected. A good starting target is the captain. Another thing that you'll want to do is make a note of your crew's clothes. It'll help avoid a little chaos and confusion later in the battle. Depending on your class and level, you'll have a range of skills to use in combat. Covering those goes beyond the scope of this video, so my suggestion for now would be to experiment with different tactics, especially in battles where you feel you have already got a strong advantage. Also be sure to keep an eye on your crew, and click call when your numbers get low. And that pretty much covers the basics of boarding combat. Slow his ship, reduce his crew, and fight to victory. Simple enough, eh?
New world's on fire. Got them sailors making money with them guns for hire. Got that letter of marque and ye be grinding. On the seas ye be free to sink, and what you findin'? Free traders sailing freighters dropping cargo for dimes. To the islands and their neighbors, and there's treasure to find. There be men of the law who be quick on the draw, cause them nations be impatient when exploiting their flaws. I be a pirate. There's no